This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, ready to rock and roll on this Tuesday morning. Our thanks to Mike for giving us a few minutes, as always. Bison have their first practice tomorrow afternoon, coming up at 1:30. About 10 of them, I believe, are going to be open to the media. So a little different change on that. But any access is better than none, is what I'll say to that. We're hopeful Grant Olson is going to join us. I'm sure there was a late meeting that he didn't know about. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll have a chance to visit with him here coming over the next couple minutes. Now, I did want to talk with him, and we can do this here even without him, on the linebackers that the Bison have coming back in 2025. And it's an intriguing mix of guys here because you'll look at what they have for depth. They have just one senior. And that's Logan Kopp, which, granted, that's a pretty good one you're going to have on that group. Here's the list of guys. Kopp being the one senior. Staling is now taking over in the middle as a junior. Donovan Woolen, likely going to be one of the outside guys, a sophomore. Austin Altapeter, who got a chance to run last year, is a junior. Peter Haugo moving back to linebacker, redshirt freshman. Oliver Luck, we've heard plenty of good things about. Fargo kid is a sophomore. And transfer Alex Elliott from the University of Minnesota, also a sophomore as well. That's the linebacker room as I see it. Defensive coordinator may have a different view on that, and also the linebacker coach. Grant Olson joined. Did you have a meeting? Did you just get out of one? Is that what's going on?
You know, it's funny. You're going to laugh. I got up early this morning and got my work done, and then I've been picking weeds, actually.
Oh, let's go.
You got a last summer project before fall camp starts, picking weeds.
Do you have the bucket hat to do that, I hope? It's sunny out. I hope you protect that melon.
I did not. No, I'm getting a little sunburned up top right now, unfortunately.
All right, give me back to your playing days. It's the day before the day. What were the emotions like you remember before the day before fall camp started?
Yeah, good question. Always excitement, always excited to start. It's your first day. It's a fresh start for everybody. You know, if you're a backup, hey, this is my opportunity to go out and earn a starting position. If I'm a starter, it's my opportunity to keep my starting position and get ready to go have a great year. So anyway, excited about the competition. You know, I think there's always a little bit of, in some ways, sadness is not the word, but just a little bit of, man, summer's over.
Yeah.
You know, and just acknowledging you've got to put that behind you and you got to move forward with football. And I remember always, like, the day before, I'm like, we're going to have a bunch of meetings and all these things that you got to do, right? Physicals and all that stuff. But then the very first day, I always remember just being crazy excited.
It's not that long ago, but it seems in college football, it's like an eternity ago. But how different is the off-season program when you play to what the guys do now?
Man, good question. I think that overall, I think things are extremely similar as far as, like, you know, there's runs and there's workouts and there's conditioning. So a lot of that is still good old same college football. I think that there's a lot more distractions now. The transfer portal and NIL and all these different factors all of a sudden make it a lot more difficult just to focus on being a great football player. So anyway, that's one of our challenges as coaches, is to be able to just get these guys and say, hey, like, you know, all we need to do is show up on Wednesday, July 30th, and have a great practice. Let's focus on that.
For you running around, I know how excited you are. It's just, how much is your own energy you want to transfer that to the guys tomorrow? Or do you, if you need to, are you worried about that? Because, hey, it's day one. You should be energized and ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that our guys I know they're going to show up with plenty of energy. Yeah. They've had a good rest. They're feeling good. They did their conditioning test with Knapp and Kramer, so things are awesome. I think that day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, like, that's where all of a sudden it's like, okay, coach, are you going to bring the same energy those days? So that's the challenge. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what leaders really step up. You know, I'm looking forward, you know, we've lost so many seniors on defense that I want to see who is going to be the leader of the corner room, who's going to bring energy at that position. You know, what linebacker other than Logan Kopp is going to bring great energy and passion and enthusiasm. So that'll be fun.
I'm interested when you guys still did 2 days as well. They don't do that anymore. So you feel like they're getting out easy considering they don't have to do that anymore?
Overall, honestly, yes. I think that there was something about going through 2 days as just a great experience. And I understand some of the reasoning behind it, but I'll also sit here and argue at the same time. I'm like, plenty of high school teams go through 2 days
Yeah.
and we're in great shape. So there's no true reason that physically we can't do it. And I know they talk about concussions and some of those things. I just don't know the research as much as possible, but I think it's good character development to go through a 2 a day every now and again. I really do. So anyway, I'd love to see him come back, but it's probably never going to happen.
I put a story out today, Grant, on the transfers that are joining the team, and obviously there's more on the defensive side than on the offensive side. How much, when the guys are coming to visit, did you have a chance to interact with them? Say, okay, we think you can help and be a part of our defense. When they're coming on visits, how much are you kind of feeling that process out? Like, this guy could fit, he could plug in and help our defense.
I think that's a huge part for me, and a big part of that is just getting to know him on the phone, but then also seeing him and talking some football. So what we try to do with a lot of visits is we try to make sure that everybody gets to have a position coach meeting, but then also finding 20 minutes, 30 minutes to sit down with the defense coordinator and for me to be able to give them an overview of our defense. And one thing that I always stress is like, hey guys, it's not my defense. The principles of Bison football are the exact same for the last 15 plus years on defense. We're just the next guys to be doing it. But I do like grabbing a defensive tackle and saying, okay, these are the fronts that we're going to run. These are the movements where we're going to allow you to go make plays. There's going to be times that you got to hold your gap, and there's times that we're going to let you cut it loose. So anyway, I think that's really powerful for some of these guys to come in with a super realistic expectation. It's so easy when you're recruiting to only ever show the positive. All you do is show plays of defensive tackles making sacks, and like, this is all we do. Like, well, that's not true. Of course not. We got to stop the run. We got to do other things. So anyway, I think that just gives guys a really realistic expectation of, I'm coming to NDSU to do these things. There's no hidden agenda, and that way they got more buy-in when they show up. And shoot, that's everything I think for a transfer. Are you willing to buy into the program you're now at?
We were talking about the linebacker room before you came on, knowing you mentioned the departure of 4 seniors there. Kopp is the one senior. Describe that room, and athleticism is crazy, but not a ton of playing experience. How do you balance that for what you're looking for through fall camp?
Yeah, good question. I think that our live repetitions, we don't do very many of them, but those live repetitions are going to be huge just to instill some confidence in those guys. Like, I'm extremely excited about the guys that we've coming back. We've got really talented football players that, like you said, just don't have a ton of experience. So we got to get them as much experience as they can. I don't need to see Logan Kopp grinding every single day of fall camp. He's an All-American candidate for a reason. He's proven that. But we do need to see Austin Altapeter and Peter Howe go get some live tackles in. And I know they can tackle. This is not a lack of belief. I just need to make sure that they get some experience so they can build some confidence. And those guys are going to be 2 really darn good players for us this year. They just need their opportunity.
Kolbeck and I were talking yesterday about the middle linebacker spot, and obviously Staling taking over there, about, and this is no disrespect to what Wirtz and Kubitz did, but how athletic a guy that Staling is that about as athletic as Jackson Hankey was last there? Give me your, because that's a spot personally. Give me your assessment of that, of what Staling can do in the middle.
Well, it's hard to always rank and compare because everybody's still in some ways their own unique linebacker. But just overall, like, if you had all of our Mike linebackers, just the Mike position in the last 15, 20 years go through a combine, I think at the end of the day, like, just based on the NFL combine scores, I think Nathaniel would be number 1, if not number 2. I think he's really that athletic. You combine the bench press and the squat and the vertical and the 40. He's running, I believe Kramer, he's one of the top 10 guys for velocity when we wear our GPS units. Wow. He's 235 pounds with almost a 40-inch vertical. That's pretty darn rare. That's an elite number. Yep. So anyway, really excited about Nathaniel again to get his opportunity. And, I know I told people last year, I thought he was the third. Yeah. I think he was the best third-string Mike linebacker in the entire country, and that includes every single program. And it's just ended up behind older guys. So, man, cannot wait for him to get his shot.
For the guys that are – Alex Elliott's another guy you and I have talked about. You know Alex for a long time, tried to recruit him the first time when he came out of Hutchinson. That's a guy that's coming in. Is that during fall camp say, okay, we know you've played college football. How long do you want him to get a sense of what Bison football is before we trust him to get out there and get on the field?
Well, I think that if he does a great job in fall camp, I'm not going to hesitate to play him right away. If he ends up earning a starting position, he's going to play. It's been really good just in meetings and in drills and things like that. I can just explain a drill and I just look at his eyes and he's got confidence and he knows what he's doing. He works really hard. He's prepared. I'm excited to coach him. It's one of those that just sometimes you just got a good feeling for a guy and his personality and his demeanor and all those things. And I just know that he fits our culture and our program so incredibly well. So he's going to have a good year. I have no doubt in my mind about that. Right away, he's going to be up going with the ones and rotating in there. He's going to be on the ones field. He's going to be competing his tail off, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does.
Sky's the limit with Donovan Woolen. What do we not know about him that you've seen up close?
Man, what do you not know about him? That's a great question. I would say that I think Donovan has really improved his man-to-man. I think that was a huge step he made from fall to spring. Donovan worked extremely hard this last year. He's got great work ethic. He's really smart. I'm trying to think anything else that I would just add to that mix. I'll tell you this, Donovan's going to be a really good leader for us this year. As a young guy, as a true sophomore in his second year, it's not often that you get great leadership out of a guy in his second year. Donovan is going to bring excellent leadership to our defense and football team without a doubt.
You have 6 incoming freshman linebackers. How do you work with them while also, hey, I need to figure out what our rotation is? How much time are you devoting to those guys when fall camp begins?
Honestly, probably 50-50 in some ways. One thing I love about the way that we double rep is like, I'm going to send Coach Moonen, who's helping me with the linebackers. I'm going to send him down to the ones field for half of our double reps, and I'm going down with the twos. Like our very first walkthrough, I've already decided I'm going with the twos. I don't need to be worried about Logan Kopp on our day one install. He knows what he's doing, and I'm going to let him be a leader. I'm going to let Nathaniel be a leader on down the line. But I am going to coach those young guys and figure out who can help us right away. We lost a ton, but man, we also brought in, like you said, we brought in a ton. I'm really excited about them. I mean, shoot, I'm like when I stand around them, they dwarf me. And I'm like, I'm not a short guy, but man, these guys are tall. They got broad shoulders. They're fast and athletic. And I'm like, these are what D1 linebackers are supposed to look like. So anyway, I'm really excited to get a chance to coach these guys. And then, just bringing them down. Like we've got so many, it's going to be nice. Hey, we're going to put you guys all on one field and we're going to let you compete and we're going to let the cream rise to the top. So it'll be fun to see what happens.
There's a couple highly touted guys, Grant, on the recruiting process. Chase Brixius out of one out of Benilde St. Margaret's. Gavin Sell, another kid. Jacob Orbanek played for the state champs in Maple Grove. Damian Devine, you got, whose younger brother is also coming next year. Those guys are all really highly touted players. How early on, because you played as a true freshman, do you get a sense when you look like, I think this guy can help us? Is there a date? Is there a marker to you to say, he's getting it. I think we can play him.
Gotcha. Well, good. Okay. So good question. So I think, kind of twofold. So one, that date athletically is a lot earlier than what it used to be, just because they've been here all summer. So like right now, every one of the incoming linebackers fits with our current linebackers. And I think that's always the thing of like, are they as fast? Are they as strong? Well, maybe they're not squatting as much, but anyway, they look good in the movement drills. They can move their feet and all those things. They got good hips. So anyway, right now, I think athletically, those freshman linebacker can help us this year. Mentally, I would tell you that for me, I probably can make that decision by day 10 of whether, in the first, I'll even take that back. I'll even say in the first 5 days of install, if they show that they know what they're doing, they can help us. I'll never forget Logan Kopp, and we tease him a little bit about this, but I think it was like day 2, and Logan made a night, or didn't make a play, and I coached him on it. He goes, "Okay, coach, I got it." And we tease him about that, like, okay, but it's day 2. We tease him about that. But then I will say he didn't miss that thing the rest of camp. And he went and made a bunch of plays. And it was like, wow, okay, like how many freshmen come in and day 2, they've got a technique that is one of your foundational principles of your defense. Yeah. So anyway, like I knew right away, day 3, I could have told you Logan Kopp was going to be really darn good.
A couple of non-linebacker questions. On the other spots on defense, positional-wise, what's maybe a younger guy we haven't seen play a lot that maybe in fall camp we should keep our eyes on over the next month?
Yeah, gotcha. A younger player. Okay, man, one I'll give you the name of Victor Isley at the defensive end position. Yep. Victor looked really good at times in spring ball. I'm excited to see what Victor can do. He's a guy that hasn't got a chance to play a whole lot. A guy in the secondary. I feel like we probably know most of them, but it will be really fun to see Talon Edie all of a sudden get a chance to play. Really excited about Talon. Will Stile from Macquarie, Minnesota. Really excited about him. Those are 2 young safeties. I'm excited to see. It's one of those that's funny. Like when you first asked the question, I started going through my mind and I started thinking of Darius and Crumby and some of those guys. And I'm like, wait a minute, they did play a ton at the end of the year. You forget how many injuries we had. shoot, Darius and Crumby started the year as our kind of probably our fourth and fifth safety last year. And then all of a sudden they end up being starters and being big time playmakers in the national championship game. So anyway, that's where I just look at a lot of positions and I'm sitting there saying, maybe because they didn't start enough games, they don't have the designation of returning starter, but man, we got plenty of playing experience coming back, a lot more than what you think.
All right, so take me back to the fall of 2010. Who came? Was it Coach Bowl to tell you you're going to play? We're pulling your red shirt. We need you. Give us that conversation.
Man, great question. I'm thinking back to it. It's one of those that, and realistically, I think Coach Bull grabbed me at one point, but a lot of those conversations do end up happening within the position group and whatnot. And I think for me, I started on the twos field, and then all of a sudden, probably by day 3 or day 4, I was on the ones field backing up Preston Evans. And it was like, well, if you're on the ones field, you're probably going to be playing at some point, and all of a sudden I was a backup for Coach Polsek on every single unit. And then all of a sudden I'm starting on a couple of units, and that was, through the beginning of the season there. So anyway, something that was probably really surprising, to be honest with you. I look back and I'm like, I had no idea. You're a freshman, you don't know what you don't know. So anyway, all of a sudden be running down on starting kickoff against Kansas was not what I expected on August 5th going into that year. That's for sure.
That's fantastic. That's wild. We're gonna go on the Wayback Machine. So the countdown is gonna hit 29 here in a couple days, and that's a pretty famous number for you because that's the number of tackles you had. Also, Eric Breitenstein is up for the College Football Hall of Fame this year, the guy from Wofford that you tackled 29 times. What do you remember about that game?
I remember there were just a really physical football game. They were a little bit unique because they had their triple option elements. Quarterback was under center, very traditional. And then they had their triple option elements where the quarterback was in the shotgun. And all of a sudden that just adds a unique element. It was very similar to what Sam Houston State was in the national championship game in 2011. So it was good to have some of that experience for sure. But man, it's difficult to get ready for a team like that on such short notice. So that was something that was definitely remembrance. I remember their defense was really good.
Yeah.
Man, it was just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I remember the fans were amazing. It was a loud game. It was a lot of fun. And it was one of those, it was kind of like one of those where sometimes you get in an element and you just stop thinking and you just go play football. And it just was kind of, I think, one of those where, everybody at some point has probably had that experience where maybe it's a baseball pitcher where you don't even look at the signs of the catcher. You're just throwing strikes and having a fun time doing it. So that was probably a similar experience for me of just like, man, just read your keys and go to the football and tackle what you see. And it just happened to work out that there was a lot of tackles involved.
Did you know the number until I remember interviewing you on the field after the game? Did you know it prior to that, or when did you find out like how many you actually had?
Whoever I got on a radio interview or whoever the first interview was on the field after the game was the first time I found out about it. It was one of those, like all of a sudden you're involved in a lot of tackles and it's like, man, I've been in on a lot of tackles, but I had no idea. It could have been 12. It could have been 50. I had no idea. You just kept playing, and it was like, it was just such an intense game. You didn't even have time to think about such a thing. But anyway, I had no idea until after the game. Dom, it was probably you told me, to be completely honest with you. I promise you, I had no idea until after the game.
All right, last thing. We dug up a video from an interview you and I did. This is 14 years ago. The locks are fantastic. I'll show you here. Can you describe? Did you show Amy this? And can you describe what the hairstyle was going here in 2011?
Oh man, good question. Well, you see those waves I got right there. I like telling guys. I said you could take my waves to the beach. I had some good curls now. Good. Hey, shout out to Marcus Williams. Marcus let me borrow some of his hats. And for those that have grown their hair out, know that if you wear a hat, you can get a little bit extra curl going. So anyway, shout out to Marcus Williams for helping me back in the day. But no, that's more of an embarrassing photo than anything. So I never showed that one to Amy. I'm sure she's seen it, but no, I never showed it.
Let me tell you, that first title team is memorable for a lot of reasons. The hair was outstanding. Yeah. By the time you guys got to Texas, that was Velbins was like down to his shoulders. Colter Boyer, all you guys, it was crazy.
That was a fun year, and I look back and I think one of the guys that probably learned the most in that situation was Coach Bull. Coach Bull used to be he wanted your hair a tie and tight guy. And then I think so many guys started doing it and you stopped caring. And
Yeah.
then we kept winning and he probably thought to himself, you know what, they're having a good time and we got good vibes. Let's keep it going.
Oh, man.
Anyway, shoot, I look back and just like, what a fun moment in life to grow your hair out and who cares, right? We can bring up those stories and I don't mind getting embarrassed.
Absolutely. It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for the time. I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow when we get going, okay?
Awesome. Thanks, Dom. I appreciate it.
There he goes. Grant Olson, NDSU defensive coordinator, joining us here. Former Bison standout linebacker, won 3 national championships, was 2-time captain at NDSU. We appreciate his time this morning and get ready to go tomorrow afternoon, the first day of fall camp. We'll break. We come back. There were 2 egregious missed calls last night that, again, make me say, why are we not have robot umpires? We'll show you that other side of the break. Maya Killian from New Prague, Minnesota, coming up in about 10 minutes. Back on Hot Mic after this.